Have you ever wondered whether it makes more sense to purchase a cool downtown condo in Kansas City or a cozy single-family home in the suburbs? It's a conundrum that a lot of buyers run into, and I love helping them work through this problem. That's what we're gonna do here today, so let's dive in. In case we haven't met before, hello, I'm Rachel Kilmer, also known as Rach the Realtor, all over the internet. Let's connect if we haven't already. Today's topic is single-family homes versus condos. A lot of people are kind of right on the fence. Does it make more sense to buy a condo? It's lower maintenance, it's in a good location, or a single-family home? It's more the traditional thing that you think of when you think of the American dream of home ownership. In Kansas City specifically, there's a few factors that play into this decision, and we'll jump right into those. Let's start with single-family homes. This is the one that most people know more about. The pros of purchasing a single-family home in Kansas City: number one, space and privacy. Of course, if you have a single-family home, you have usually some sort of yard, perhaps a fence, and a little bit of wiggle room between you and your neighbors. That is a huge benefit to owning a single-family home. You also have flexibility. So if you've ever wanted to paint your house a wacky color, I know I used to have a pink front door and I loved it. It made my heart so happy. Whatever your dream is of creative control over your home, you can do that with a single family home. A little caveat though, watch out for HOAs. A lot of HOAs do have restrictions on what color your front door can be painted, for example. So if your vision for your single family home is something really off the wall and wacky, check with your real estate agent before you even look at a house to make sure that you're not in a super strict HOA. Some city codes have restrictions around that stuff as well, like can you build a shed? Can you put a fence up? Can you have a tree house? Those kinds of things. But overall, you have a lot more flexibility when you own a single family home. The third major pro of owning a single family home is the long-term investment of it. Historically, single family homes appreciate over time, and they appreciate at a higher rate than condos, townhomes, apartments do, almost always throughout the history of the real estate market. I'll talk about this a little bit more later when we get into condos, but Kansas City, I think we might be at a little bit of a precipice because downtown is becoming so hot. The streetcar's expanding, the Royals might be moving downtown, the Kansas City Current's putting a stadium in. Historically in Kansas City, single-family homes have appreciated a lot better than condos, but that's not going to be the case forever, perhaps. So we can't predict the future, but we do know that downtown is becoming much more of a hotspot in Kansas City. So keep that in the back of your mind when we move to condos here in just a moment. So the cons, what are the cons of owning a single family home? Well, probably the biggest one, at least in my opinion, is the maintenance. You have to mow the yard, you have to shovel the driveway, you have to clean out the gutters, you have to take care of everything on the exterior as well as the inside of the home. If there's a hailstorm, you got to call your insurance and see if your roof has damage. It's just like an endless list of things to take care of, which if you really want a single family home, so worth it. But if you're kind of on the fence of condo versus home, that is the biggest thing to think about, is how much maintenance realistically do you want to mess with? Can you afford to mess with? And do you have time to mess with? Another con to purchasing a single family home is that the starting costs can be higher. The average single family home is going to cost more than like the average condo. So the sale price is higher. Sometimes the taxes are higher depending on what city it's in. And then a lot of times when you move into a house, there's immediately projects that you have to take care of. So the cost of getting into a single family home can be a con as well. So what about condos? So we've talked about the pros and cons of a single family home. Those are pretty common knowledge. Condos are a little bit of a different beast, especially in Kansas City. So let's flip it and actually talk about the downsides to owning a condo first. HOA fees. So you obviously know you can have an HOA fee with a house. So with a single family home, it's typically something like $300 a year, $400 a year, depending on how many amenities there are. With condos, we're talking $500 to $700 a month most of the time. That does include stuff, so it can vary a lot. It can be as low as $100 a month, as high as like $1,200 a month, depending on, does the HOA cover utilities? What kind of maintenance do they cover? Are there amenities? Is there a pool? Is there a gym? Is there a hot tub? But the HOA fees can be a huge factor in purchasing a condo, and you have to keep an eye on them before you even go look at a condo, because it really can impact how much condo you can afford. It's a huge chunk of your monthly payment goes towards your HOA dues. Another thing to look for in HOA dues with condos is something called special assessments. So this is the big, scary monster under the bed if you're looking at condos. Special assessments are something that the HOA charges to its homeowners when they don't have enough savings in their HOA account to cover something that's come up. It could be like the whole building needs new siding or they need to replace the roof. These can be anywhere from, $100, but I've seen them as high as $50,000. Especially in Kansas City, our downtown was so neglected for so long, a lot of these buildings are not in great shape. And so the cost of upgrading and maintaining those buildings ends up falling on the homeowners. So special assessments can be a big deal if you already own the home and are assessed a special assessment. But if you're thinking about buying a condo, you have to look for them as well, because the condo can't change hands with an outstanding special assessment. So let's say the HOA assessed homeowners a $50,000 assessment last year, and the seller either has been making payments on it or hasn't paid it at all. That has to be addressed before that condo can sell. So that's another kind of hairy piece of the HOA. You'll want to make sure that it's a really solid HOA. And actually, your lender will do that for you. So if you're putting a loan on a condo, the lenders and underwriters will sometimes even pull minutes from previous HOA meetings to make sure there hasn't been any conversation about big impending special assessments, which is good because it protects you, but it's also can be frustrating because they can end up saying they don't approve the loan or requiring a higher down payment. So condos can be a little bit hairy because of the HOAs, the special assessments, and the liability that the whoever it is up in the clouds that dictates who gets loans decides that there is. Another downside to being in a condo is a lack of privacy and a lack of flexibility. So you know how we were talking about painting your front door pink? You can't do that in a condo. You also might be able to hear your neighbors through the wall. So if that doesn't bother you, no big deal. But that is something to think about, like lifestyle. What's your lifestyle like? Do you care if you have to see someone when you're making a late night grocery run in your pajamas? Those things matter in a condo as well. And then the last negative, the last con to purchasing a condo is the historical appreciation pace. Again, in Kansas City, and this is not true in every city, but in Kansas City, historically, single family homes have sold appreciated in value at a higher pace than condos. My personal opinion is that that gap is going to continue to close over time as these buildings get whipped into shape, as downtown continues to grow and thrive, as we continue to get more public transportation and more people moving into the city. I think the value of condos is going to go up and get closer to single family homes. That's just my opinion. We have no historical data to support that, so it does have to go in the con category, but something to think about. Now the pros. Why the heck would you buy a condo after we just spent all that time talking about the monster under the bed of the HOA and special assessments? Well, there's lots of great reasons, and perhaps the number one main pro to purchasing a condo in Kansas City is location. We just don't have single family homes down in the downtown core. We just don't have houses mixed in with our commercial development where you can walk to a bar district in most parts of the city. Condos are lining those main streets of Kansas City. So you cannot beat the location to be able to go down an elevator, walk out the front door, and then be right in the hustle bustle and the energy of the city. So the location of a condo is the absolute number one pro in Kansas City. But a very close second is the convenience. Remember those HOAs? They're there for a reason. They take care of many things for you. Condos can actually be a great purchase for a first-time home buyer because the HOA does take care of so much. They can take care of some of your utilities. They take care usually of all of the exterior maintenance. So the only things you have to worry about are things actually inside your unit. Like, did you change the furnace filter? Is a lot easier than, did I climb up on the roof and clean out the gutters? HOAs also often offer amenities. So one of the benefits of living in a condo is you could have a really cool rooftop swimming pool. You could have a hot tub. You could have a gym. I've seen dog parks. I've seen buildings with barber shops right in the basement. So the amenities are a big benefit to living in a condo as well. Okay, so I feel like we're on one of those reality shows where I'm like, okay, we've looked at two options. Which one would you like to purchase? Make a life-changing decision right now over this ice cream in this coffee shop. You know the shows. It's one that rhymes with like schmashmers, but I feel like I'll get in trouble if I say it. So it's that one that I'm thinking of. Anyways, single family homes and condos are both great purchases in Kansas City. They both have really distinct pros and cons, and you will definitely want a real estate professional to help you navigate through this choice and through this process. And Surprise, that's what I do. I would love to help you decide what kind of home to purchase in Kansas City and walk with you every step of the way through the process. So hit me up, text me, email me, slide into the old DMs, and let's talk about buying your own little slice of Kansas City. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.